Alright, it's Saturday, September 29th. I'm in Edison, New Jersey. I've had a pretty rough 36 hours. So I delivered in a town called Thurmont, Maryland, which is just north of Frederick, Maryland. And I delivered there Thursday morning. So I got 3 loads, all subsequent together, where I had to go to York, Pennsylvania and pick up a load of junk mail going to the Postal Service in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, which is a part of Worcester, Mass. And I was supposed to deliver that yesterday morning and then go over to Holbrook, Mass, about 60 miles away, and pick up a trailer in Holbrook, Mass, coming down here to Edison, where I am now. It's the same load I had before with all the donated clothing. Well, by the time I got to the pickup in York, PA, 2 hours early, and it still took them until 9 o'clock. My appointment was at 6. I got there at 4. And they had me finished at 9 p.m. By the time I got out of there, I had to stop and take a rest break. And I had to try to get across the Tappan Zee Bridge before Friday morning rush hour hit. So I went up to a way station in Massachusetts and had to take an 8-hour break. So that pushed me back to being a half hour late for my 11 a.m. appointment in Massachusetts at the post office. And being the efficient system that they are, the post office took 5 hours to unload me. Now, yesterday should have been easy. I should have been able to get unloaded in Shrewsbury, Mass, run over to Holbrook and pick up a preloaded trailer. It's 56 miles. Should have taken about an hour and 15 minutes. I would have been way before rush hour started in Boston. And then be able to shoot down and cross the George Washington Bridge at New York City probably about 9 p.m., 8:30 maybe. Well, like they normally do, the post office screwed up everything. So I left there at 4:30 p.m. It was pouring the rain. People in Boston can't drive when it's wet. Add some rain in it and it's sheer pandemonium. Which put me in Boston traffic. It took me almost 2 hours to drive what should have taken an hour to pick up my trailer. Then I got there. I hadn't eaten anything all day because I sat 5 hours at the stinking post office. So I called a Pizza Hut there in Randolph, Massachusetts, and I ordered a pizza and a couple of drinks, and I ran over and I dropped my empty trailer in the door. I hooked up to my loaded trailer. I did a quick inspection. I shoved it in gear, and when I got to the Pizza Hut, I pulled off the road, set the brakes, ran inside the Pizza Hut as fast as I could go, threw $15 down on the table, grabbed my pizza, and left. I got on the road, started down Interstate 95 toward New York City, and things were going really smooth, and I thought, hey, I might make it. Well, they undoubtedly had some construction project they needed to work on, and in order to work on it, they needed to shut 4 lanes down to 1. And so that was the end of me making it. I crossed the George Washington Bridge with 1 minute left on my hours of service, and I made my way to the first service plaza in New Jersey on the Turnpike, and I took an 8-hour break, and I got up this morning and drove the last 40 miles down here. I should have been here last night by 10 o'clock. But that's how truck drivers get screwed over by shippers and receivers when they take their sweet time loading or unloading us. I mean, basically in the span of 2 loads, I lost almost 12 hours. You know, all things considered. And you know, when we talk about hours of service and the rules and regulations that we have to work with, that's what our wise overlords in Washington don't have a clue about, is that this type of job is very fluid. It does not run on time. Nothing ever happens the way it's supposed to happen, and so we have to be able to adapt. Now, 99% of the time, we can still adapt and be within the rules and regulations without a problem. But just like last night, when the counter on the hours hit 0, I had to stop. And the reason that this load was late by 3 hours was because the post office took 5 hours of my time and burned it because they're inefficient and incompetent. I can't wait till these people get a hold of our health care. That's going to be awesome. I had one little last bit of drama when I got here. I pulled up on the curb here. This place where I'm at has 2 docks. And you have to, well, I'll just show you. I have to pull into this parking lot across the street in order to back into this dock here. I don't know if you can see that very well. So when I pull up, I'm sitting on the curb right over here. I just pulled up kind of perpendicular to the building because I knew as soon as I got here that that they were going to begin unloading me. And I sat there probably, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe. And I hear that little funny sounding honk honk from a cop car, and I look over and he's giving me one of these. And I rolled down my window and he said, "You have to move." And I said, "I'm fixing to pull into this dock. These guys are backing me in right now." "No stopping or standing. No stopping or standing." And I said, "I'm going to back into this dock right now. There's nowhere else to go other than, I guess, drive around the damn block 2 or 3 times because this jackass cop is too stupid and on his power trip. He's a moron. And he doesn't have a discernible bit of common sense. And in his entire body, he's just got a gun. And he gets to order people around. He don't have any common sense. Edison, New Jersey police officer, you're a jackass and you're a moron. Have a nice day. Have a Coke and a smile. This is the kind of crap. I'll tell you what, if I had a dime for every time as a truck driver in 15 years, 1 million miles, that I blew through a no trucks allowed, no truck parking, trucks prohibited, I wouldn't be able to get anywhere. There is literally a town in Michigan that, I can't think of the name of it right now, but they build those cheap, or there's a little factory there that builds those cheap entertainment centers and presswood things like you buy at Walmart. And they ship them out to Walmarts and Big Lots and all that kind of stuff. Every street coming to this factory, okay, and it's a pretty good sized place. It probably employs, I want to say, a couple hundred people. I mean, it's not a, it's not nothing. It's significant. Every street leading to this place is truck restricted. Big signs, no trucks allowed. Think about that. Here's a business in a small community. Now, it doesn't matter because we all ignore it and blow right past the signs like they're not even there. But here's a community that has an employer that employs 150, 200, maybe 300, who knows? It's a big place. But yet, the morons that they have chosen as their leaders, I laugh every time I see a story in the paper. Local leaders, government leaders, God. Anyway, every street going into this place, no trucks are allowed, which means they've got some ordinance somewhere, probably a fine, if they so choose. They could fine every truck coming in and out of there if they wanted to. Do we need to have some type of rules, regulations, and standards? Of course we do. We've also got to have a little common sense. We've got to be, as if we're a police officer, we've got to be able to roll up on something and say, wonder why that guy's sitting there with his four-ways flashing. Maybe I'll ask him, hey driver, what are you doing here? Oh, these guys are fixing to back me in. They've got to pull this guy out of the dock before I can get in. Oh, okay, so you'll be about 5 minutes? Yes, sir, no problem. All right, go ahead, have a nice day. But no, he doesn't do that. He just rolls up, doesn't get his lazy ass out the car. He sits there in his car shouting orders because he's an idiot. And he's got a gun. And he's legally allowed to use it. And I wish I could say this problem was specific, to one region or another. But it's not. The Northeast can be very hard to deal with, but I've run into idiots. I had a cop tell me one night, because I inadvertently in the middle of the night trying to get to a Dollar General store to unload the next morning, a cop pull up and tell me that I was on a truck restricted route, and I said, well, I didn't know that, and there wasn't a sign. And he said, well, the mayor wants you guys to know that these are his streets. Really? These are his streets, and he don't want you trucks tearing them up. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you tell your mayor that unless the people of his town, and this was right up on the lake in a Cleveland suburb, unless everybody wants to be cold, wet, naked, and hungry, he might want to think about viewing truck drivers in just a little better light. Because there's nothing you have that didn't show up on a truck. I'm not asking you to bow down and treat us like royalty, because of what we do. I'm just saying, hey, how about a little courtesy and respect? Just a little bit. That's all we need. Not, we don't need gold-plated roads, and we don't need the red carpet rolled out for us. We just say, hey, that guy's kind of doing something important, so, I'm not going to be an asshole just because I can. And I sent the mayor an email, and it was not courteous and respectful. And I told him what I thought of him. I told him that he was an idiot. And unless his, constituents all wanted to weave their own clothing and grow their own, food and fruits and vegetables and stuff in the backyard, because there were no more trucks, that he, the king, the mighty sovereign master of the local township, in all his infinite wisdom, would shut all the trucks down and not let them in so they wouldn't tear up his streets. These people are not royalty. They're supposed to serve us locally, on a county level, on a state level, and certainly on a federal level. We're the kings. They're the servants. It's not the other way around. They're not the kings and we the servants. We're the kings. They're the servants. They bow down to us. It's about time people start realizing that. Barack Obama and Mitt Romney need to be bowing down to us, not the other way around. So that's the Trucker's Log for today, Saturday, September 29th, 2012. Glad I got that off my chest. Check me out on Twitter at TruckinZar and Facebook.com/AnAmericanTrucker. We'll see you next time.